Now, it is an exciting day at the channel because we managed to get our hands on an early pair of a new road running shoe that I've been hearing lots of good feedback about, and it is these rather good looking Saucony Triumph 21s. Now, this is the brand's highly cushioned sort of daily trainer, that shoe in your rotation that's going to soak up all those weekly miles with ease, keeping you nice and comfortable underfoot. But there has been a few subtle updates made this time round. We've got this new flat knit upper and a redesigned lacing system. So let's get stuck into the video and take the new Triumphs out for their first run. Welcome back everyone, and thanks for joining us for another first impressions video here at the channel. I'm Lloyd Purvis and this is Run4Adventure. It's been a while since we had any running shoe content on the channel because myself and Liga have both been away in the lovely Lecco in Italy, taking on the challenging Lake Como Trail 30k. What a race, what a stunning route, so well organised, everybody was so friendly out there, and we even had to take a beautiful boat trip across Lake Como to get to the start line. I mean, how epic is that? I've got to say it, maybe we weren't prepared for how challenging and technical the race was going to be. Obviously we knew it was in the mountains, but they've had a lot of rain in Italy of late, so the conditions underfoot were super wet, real sticky mud. There was some very steep climbs to deal with and it was hard to get traction, but also it was super wet and slippy and technical coming down the other side. So we definitely had ourselves an adventure, but we survived to tell the tale. Obviously, I took the cameras along on race day and we've got a full race day video already up on the channel. So what I'll do is I'll link that in the description below in case you want to check it out in a bit more detail. But back to today's shoe in question, and it is the Triumph 21 from Saucony. So they're not actually available in the UK yet. I believe they're going to be launching across Europe around the 11th of July, which is great. We've managed to get hold of an early pair so we can get some good miles in them and then give you guys lots of information about how they performed on the roads of Cornwall before that release date. So first up, we're going to give you a few facts and figures, and then we're going to break down this new construction in a bit more detail, and then we're going to be getting them on our feet and bringing you guys along for the first run. The Triumph now comes with this flat knit construction, so giving you a comfortable yet lightweight and breathable feel. To touch, that outer mesh feels quite coarse, but we do have a much softer sort of second layer internally in that upper. You can see lots of perforations worked around that midfoot and across that toe box, so I think the breathability of this upper is going to perform pretty well, which is definitely a good thing because we are actually having a spell of really good weather here in the UK for a change. It has been a good few years since I spent any time running in the Triumph, and a lot has changed over the years, which I am very happy about because I personally used to find the shoe a little bit heavy, a little bit cumbersome, a bit bulky. There was way too much padding in the upper when it came to the tongue and the ankle collar, especially in the dark sort of ISO fit days. So I found it very hard to lock the shoe down and it wasn't particularly breathable. I'm happy to say that's not the case here. So the shoe, the upper has definitely been a lot more stripped back. We've still got that gusseted tongue in the upper, but I would say it carries a moderate level of padding now, very similar to that ankle collar and the heel. So it should give us a nice plush feel to that upper, but it shouldn't have a negative impact when it comes down to fit. We've got some overlays working down that heel cup there and around the lace eyelets just to give you a little bit of extra durability. And we've also got this piece of fabric working up here that looks like suede, but I take it it's mock suede because Saucony say this shoe is okay for vegans, but on closer inspection it does look like it hasn't been finished off properly. I'm sure it's meant to be like that, and all I can think of is it's for giving that ankle collar a bit more protection when you pull those laces down nice and tight. That's all I can really think of, to be honest. And then finishing up, when it comes to that upper construction, we've got a handy little pull loop on the heel just to make it a bit easier to get in and out of the shoe. Moving down to that midsole, and you can see we get a very good helping of Saucony's very soft, bouncy and super durable PWRRUN Plus foam compound. We've actually got a 37mm stack height at the heel and 27mm under the forefoot, so you do get a pretty deep midsole construction on the Triumph 21, and if my maths serves me correct, that gives it a 10mm drop. So I tend to like anything from a 4 to an 8mm drop on my running shoe. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that feels when we get out on the tarmac. Now, I wasn't sure that you'd get a pair of Saucony's PWRRUN Plus insoles in the new Triumph because we've already got lots of the stuff worked into that midsole construction. I'm happy to say we do get a pair because I am a big fan of these and they really do offer another level of plushness close to your foot. So the new Triumph should run really comfortable out on today's run. And then finishing up, flipping it over, you can see we've got a really good helping of blown rubber on that outsole. So we should get good levels of traction and durability. But there you have it, folks, the all new updated Triumph 21 from Saucony. Obviously, I'm going to talk more about the shoe out on the run and when we get back to the studio, but I haven't actually ran for 2 or 3 days now, so I'm getting itchy feet. So let's get these laced up and let's get running.
Disappeared so fast, like time is playing tricks on me, like my present now is my past.
Okay, so we have made it up to the mount here in Hale. 3 miles done so far, and I've just come up here to get away from the traffic. Like I mentioned, we're having some incredible weather here in Cornwall at the moment, and it is getting very close to crazy season down here. So it is super busy on the roads, there's people everywhere. So I thought I'd come this direction to try and get away from it all. Also, you can probably see it's a pretty mega view from here as well. But as far as the shoe goes, first up, let's talk about fit. It is definitely true to size. This UK 9.5 is fitting my foot shape like a glove, like most Saucony shoes do. I've got a really good hold and lockdown around that midfoot. I feel really well held in the heel, but I would say maybe there's a little bit more volume in that toe box, say, compared to Saucony's Ride 16. Like I thought, that flat knit upper feels pretty breathable, and I'd say it's probably 20, 21, 22 degrees, which is pretty warm in the UK. I'm sure there's lots of you watching all over the world thinking 20 degrees warm, but that is pretty warm here in the UK, and the upper feels nice and fresh. So we're going to try and get in a good sort of 10k, 7 miles in the shoe. So let's crack on, let's get this run done. Awesome to be back out running, especially in this glorious weather. Like I said before we left the flat, I hadn't run for a few days, and the main reason being is I have been having a few lower leg issues since the race in Italy. In fact, just before we went out, when I was filming the Merrill First Impressions review, my calf tightened up, and then obviously with the race being in the mountains with 2,000 meters of elevation, it tightened up again just literally in the last mile of the race. And I've had lots of treatment, done lots of maintenance at home, and definitely freed it up, and it's actually feeling pretty good today. So onwards and upwards. Okay, so that is 5 miles done already, and we are heading back home, and it has been an issue-free run with my body and with the shoe. The PWRRUN Plus midsole with that PWRRRUN Plus insole feels really good underfoot, and PWRRRUN Plus cushioning really has come a long way in the last few years. I remember back in the day, it used to be comfortable, it used to be bouncy, used to be durable, but you paid the price when it came to weight, and it was super heavy compound. Whereas now, the midsole on this Triumph 21 feels nice and light, well balanced, not as bouncy as PWRRUN PB, but still nicely cushioned. But it also feels very stable and dependable. Just what you want from a daily trainer. Okay, so let's get these last couple of miles done, trouble-free, and we'll break down the performance of the new Triumph in a bit more detail when we get back to the studio. See you guys there. I am loving this spell of hot weather that we're having in Cornwall, and long may it continue, that's what I say, because it is super rare for us to get any long periods of warm, dry weather here in the UK. So when it happens, it's always awesome, and I'm sure I can hear lots of you saying out there, I don't know, Lloyd is so British because he's sitting there going on about the weather. But back to my first run in these, and I kind of got what I'd expect from a deeply cushioned daily trainer. So a really nice fitting, comfortable upper, highly breathable out there on today's run, good levels of stable, comfortable cushioning from that PWRRRUN Plus midsole insole combination. And then last but not least, I know it was dry out there today, but it felt like I was getting really good levels of traction from that blown rubber outsole, and it felt nice and sticky on all the pavements and all the roads I ran. Now, if you followed the channel for any period of time, then you'll know that most of the current lineup in the Saucony range, whether it be road or trail, works really well for my foot shape, and I do enjoy running in their shoes, but that hasn't always been the case over the years. And about 5 or 6 years ago, it was a very different story. For some reason, the brand decided to put their not great performing ISOFIT upper in pretty much every single model in their lineup, and I never really got on with that upper. I just found it way over padded, and it really did affect the fit and lockdown in a negative way, but it also made their uppers run extremely hot, and breathability was pretty poor. The transformation the brand has made over the last 4 or so years has been pretty incredible, and I personally think that they are producing some of the best running shoes out there these days. And I know I'm sounding like a Saucony fanboy, but that really isn't the case. I just think they're producing some really well thought through, well designed, top performing running shoes. And I know a lot of you guys agree with me because I always get lots of positive feedback about the brand in the comments under the videos. And I personally think with the new updates to the Triumph 21, they've just got another top performing road running shoe in their lineup. It kind of had everything I want from that sort of workhorse shoe in my rotation, that running shoe that I'm going to lace up and do all those steady miles throughout the week. You know, you're not going to put the Triumph 21 on and you're going to get all excited and it's going to blow your mind when it comes to feel and performance, say like you'd get from an Endorphin Pro 3. But it is going to give you that nice plush feel from the comfortable upper. You're going to feel really well cushioned underfoot from that PWRRRUN Plus midsole. But most of all, it's going to feel well constructed, it's going to feel nice and stable and kind of dependable, and that's exactly what I want from my daily workhorse trainer. It would also be awesome to hear from you guys about the previous version of this, the Triumph 20s. So if you've been racking up some good miles in that shoe, because this has only had a few slight updates this time round, so it'd be great to hear how that Triumph 20 has been performing when it comes to feel, cushioning, fit, and most importantly, durability. So get in the comments below and let us know all about it. So there you have it guys, our first run in the Triumph 21, a neutral road running shoe from Saucony. We're obviously going to continue to rack up some miles in the shoe, and hopefully we can get our full in-depth review on the channel before the release that's due later this year in July. I've got to say a big shout out to Saucony for hooking us up with an early pair so we can get some good mileage in it and then hopefully get some helpful content on the channel for you guys at home. Just before we sign off today guys, I just wanted to let you know that we have just opened the pre-orders for the summer edition of the Run4Adventure technical short sleeve tee. Now these are constructed from 100% recycled polyester. We got some nice side mesh paneling for extra ventilation, reflective stitching for safer nighttime running, and some pretty cool Run4Adventure detailing thrown in for good measure. So if you want to be rocking the coolest technical running kit this summer, all you got to do is pop along to run4adventure.uk, or you could click on the link in our description and get those pre-orders in. The pre-order phase is only going to be open for a couple of weeks, so you haven't got long. Once all those orders are in, we'll put the tees into production. It'll take about 3 to 4 weeks, and then we'll get all those orders together and we'll ship them out to you guys. So you got some cool running kit to wear this summer. Like I said, it's not going to be open long, a couple of weeks, so don't miss out guys. But for now, thanks for watching, thanks for all the support you guys give, it really is appreciated. We'll be back on the channel very, very soon, and as always, stay safe and keep on running. It's been a while since we had any running shoe content because myself and away. Welcome back folks, thanks for joining us for another video. And we've also got this, what looks like a bit of sort of mock suede. I take it is mock suede because